Today on Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas, we're gonna make some chicken and pepper Spanakopias. The Spanakopita comes from the country of Greece, and basically it means spinach pie. The traditional recipe calls for spinach, feta cheese, onions, but we're gonna do chicken, bell peppers, mozzarella cheese, and onions. So let's get cooking, stay tuned. Back to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. Let's go through some of the ingredients that you're going to need for our chicken and pepper Spanakopita. First thing you're going to need is some boneless, skinless chicken strips. You're going to also need some bell peppers, yellow, green, red, and also an onion. You're going to need some seasoning, and I just buy these McCormick seasoning. This is celery seed, parsley flakes, onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper, of course. Super important that you get the Hungarian sweet paprika for this. This can be purchased at Central Market if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or you can also buy this on Amazon too. So it's called Szeged, S-Z-E-G-E-D, Szeged brand, and then Hungarian sweet paprika, super important. You're also gonna need a little bit of butter. So I just have a fourth cup, is this a fourth? Yes, I just have a fourth cup of butter. I have some heavy cream. You're gonna need a little bit of heavy cream, chicken stock, extra virgin olive oil, mozzarella cheese that's already shredded, and super important is the phyllo dough. Phyllo dough is super important for this. So let's get cooking, stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do is chop up your peppers. So I have my green pepper here, and I'm just chopping this up. You want approximately a fourth of a cup of each. So a fourth of a cup of some green bell peppers that's chopped up super small. You're going to need, make sure that you only have the green part of the bell pepper. Try not to get the white. And like I said, you're chopping this up really, really small, in about a fourth of a cup. All right, so we're gonna chop up our yellow and our red peppers too. So stay tuned. Okay, so I wanted to show you really quick. Basically, after they're chopped up, just get a fourth cup measuring cup here. Make sure it's about a fourth of a cup. And if you look at it, it looks so pretty. You have your yellow, you have your green, and your red. So it's gonna look really, really pretty in our Spanakopita. Somebody asked me one time, why are you using the 3 peppers? And I said, well, the flavor, of course, it just adds to the dish, and also the color. Oh my gosh, the color looks so pretty. So we're gonna start on our onions and start cutting up our onions, so stay tuned. Okay, so next we're cutting up our onion. We want to make sure that we're going to have about a half of a cup. Now I like to cut my onion really, really small, very, very fine. And once again, make sure that you have a half a cup for this recipe. At least a half a cup of onions. Okay. Cut that up really small. Very good, and we have our measuring cup here in case you want to check to make sure it is approximately half a cup, which you can see it is perfect. Excellent. So there we have our half a cup of onions, and now we're going to season our chicken, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so we're back. So depending on how much you want to make, I'm only using half a pound approximately of chicken, and this is the boneless, skinless chicken strips, and I'm going to season them with salt and pepper first. You want to make sure that when you season, you always season on both sides, so just flip it over. And I'm going to use my pepper. And garlic powder, onion powder. This is just how I season my chicken most of the time on most dishes. This is my onion powder. Once again, make sure that you do both sides. And then, super important ingredient for this, you want to, let me see if I can open this with a knife. You want to make, use this Hungarian paprika and the Szeged brand. Please keep in mind, it's not just any paprika. This really will spruce up the flavor of the chicken. All right, so we did both sides. And then what I want to do is I'm going to cook this, but after it's cooked, I'm going to chop it up really small, so stay tuned. Okay, so I have my skillet and I'm heating it up on a low to medium heat. I'm adding about a tablespoon or so of extra virgin olive oil. Going to kind of turn that around in the pan, make sure it's pretty much all covered at the bottom. And I'm going to continue to heat that up. I have some minced garlic here. I'm going to use approximately probably about a tablespoon of minced garlic. And I'm going to put that in the pan. My large skillet here. Let me get my wooden fork to kind of stir that garlic around. This is how I like to do it at first. Okay. And then we're going to add the chicken and we're going to cook up our chicken. All right. Now you want to make sure that your skillet is hot enough so when you add your chicken, it's going to be, you can hear a little bit of that sizzle. Okay, so I think it's ready for the chicken now. And my flame is on a medium flame right now. And we're gonna cook that up and we'll be back. Okay, so let's check on our chicken. It's been approximately 10 minutes. Looks pretty good. These are really cut very thinly, so they shouldn't cook that long really. So I think they are pretty much done. You always want to make sure with chicken that there's no pink showing. So I'm just going to get a fork and knife and just cut it. Take a look inside. Yeah, I don't see any pink. Let's check this one. Okay, these look pretty good. This one, yeah. All right, they look pretty good. I'm gonna let it cook for maybe about 1 or 2 more minutes and then we're gonna take it out of the pan, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So our chicken is pretty much done. I'm going to take out the strips and place them in this bowl for now. We are going to be chopping these up really, really small, so keep that in mind. And we're going to place it in the peppers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same pan, and I'm going to get some butter here, and I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to add that to my pan. And I'm going to first add little bit of garlic, just a little bit, probably like a teaspoon, because it already has some garlic in there from the chicken. And stir that around. And now, and my flame is on a low flame right now. And then I'm gonna add my onions first. So I have my onions, my green pepper, red pepper, yellow pepper. I'm gonna just add all my onions first. Stir that. I'm gonna cook up my onions until they're translucent. So saute your onions first. Give it a nice stir. And at this time, I like to add just a little bit of salt and pepper. And once again, give it a good stir. We're gonna put the cover back on and probably cook that for about 5 minutes, so stay tuned. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and my onions look good. They look like they're translucent. And I'm going to add now half tablespoon of butter again. Gonna let that melt. The reason why we're adding a little bit more butter is because we're gonna add the peppers. Okay, so that's still on a low flame. And now I'm gonna add my peppers, all three, the red, the yellow, and the green. I'm gonna stir that up. Oh, it looks so pretty. All those different colors in there. It smells good too. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna let that cook for a few minutes and we're gonna chop up our chicken, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're gonna chop up our chicken. So I'm just gonna get my chicken here and place it on this board, cutting board. And all I'm gonna do is just chop this up really, really fine. So, nice flavor. Okay, so I'm just going to cut it up really, really small. And this will take a little time because you're gonna be cutting it really, really small. And I just want to show you, if you could see that on camera, it even needs to be smaller than that. So you're really just chopping it up super, super small, super, super fine. So whatever you just chopped up, chop it up again. Okay, because you want these little chicken bits. Don't forget, this is going to be inside the Spanakopita, and you want them to be super small. And we're going to actually put this chicken back in to the pan with the peppers. So once it's all chopped up really, really small. I just like to cook mine first and then chop it up because I know the chicken is cooked. And then we're just going to toss it in that pan again with the peppers. So I'm going to continue cutting this up, and when we come back, we're going to add it to the peppers, so stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So we're gonna add our chopped up chicken to our pan here. And as you can see, look at all those onion and the onion and the peppers. It looks so good, looks very colorful. My flame is still on a low. And let me show you quickly how small I chopped up that chicken. You can see how small that is. So now I'm gonna add my chicken back into the pan. And when I took out the chicken, there was some juices from the chicken that I'm just going to drizzle back in there, okay? And I'm gonna give that a good stir. So I'm mixing the peppers, the onions, and the chicken all together, okay? At this point, I'm going to add just a little bit of celery seeds. So when we come back, we're gonna do that. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back. So I'm gonna add my celery seed. I'm just gonna do a couple of shakes, just a little bit. You don't need a lot of celery seed. It's just for a little bit of that flavor, that celery flavor. I'm gonna stir that. See, I could already smell that celery. So this was just a little bit, like a pinch. Okay, and now I'm going to add a little bit. I'm gonna add approximately a 1/4 cup of chicken stock. And I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of whipping cream. Okay, so that's a 1/4 cup of chicken stock and a 1/4 cup of heavy cream or whipping cream. And I'm gonna stir that. That's just to moisten that. Yum. You wanna make sure that everything is coated. All right, so I'm gonna cook this up for another 5 minutes or so with the lid on. And then we're going to add it to our phyllo dough, so stay tuned. Okay, so this is pretty much cooked up. Basically, let me get a wooden spoon real quick. And I'm gonna stir that up one last time. You do not want it too liquidy, but you don't want it too dry either. So it just needs to be moistened, and that's why you use that heavy cream and also the chicken stock, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add just a little bit of parsley flakes. You can buy fresh parsley. I'm just using it from this spice jar here. I'm just topping it, and then I'm gonna add some mozzarella cheese. Just sprinkle it on top. Okay, I just use 2 little handfuls just to cover the top, and I'm gonna mix this together. So let that cheese melt into the chicken and the peppers, just like that. Okay, looks good. I'm gonna put the cover back on it, let it cook for about 1 more minute so that cheese can melt, and then we're gonna add it. We're gonna let it cool first, and then we're gonna add it to our phyllo dough, so stay tuned. All right, so we're back. So I'm going to show you, I have the phyllo dough here. You're gonna need 2. Make sure you have 2. And this has already been thawed out in the refrigerator. You're gonna get a knife. Let me get my little paring knife here. And I'm going to cut these in thirds. Okay. Just laying that on top. You gotta be kind of careful with it because you don't want them to kind of crumble up. So I'm gonna place these back on top of here. And I'm gonna start with these 2. And I have my chicken here. And I'm gonna use a slotted spoon. Okay, so I'm gonna use my slotted spoon. And I'm going to place just probably about half of this spoon into the middle. Maybe just a little bit more. And you're going to fold it first in a triangle, like fold it over this way, fold it over this way, fold it over that way, fold it over this way, and you keep alternating. And if you have a little extra like this, get some butter and just fold it and add it there. It makes a nice little triangle. Okay, there you go, there's one. Okay, so after they've been cut in strips, you're gonna place it down. I'm just gonna add there, don't forget there's 2 here, so I'm gonna add just a little bit of butter so it can adhere to at the ends to each other. You don't have to go all the way around. I'm gonna use probably a spoonful and kind of spread it just a little bit. You don't have to add it to the very top. And then you're just going to fold it, hopefully you can see that on camera, sort of like a right triangle. See that? Right triangle. Then you're gonna fold it down this way. It forms another right triangle. Notice you're already going over your mixture here. And then you're gonna fold it that way. And you're gonna keep folding it. Fold it down so you have these right triangles. At the end, you can either cut that off, these ends, or what I like to do is just get a little butter. And then I'm gonna flap it over, kind of seal it up there, just like that. I'm going to add just a little butter on the top, and then put it on my trays here. My Silpat has my Silpat there. Silpats are awesome, so it doesn't stick. And I'm going to continue making mine until all my mixture is done. So let me show you one more time. So I have 2 here that I already cut. I'm gonna add a little butter to the top. Make sure it adheres. Add a little butter at the bottom. Make sure it adheres. I'm gonna use approximately a spoonful. That cheese is really, wow, it really is all melted in there. It looks so good. And then, like I said, you're gonna fold it this way, make a right triangle, fold it this way. I'm already going over my mixture. Fold it over that way, and you're gonna keep folding it. And then that little bit at the end there, add some butter, flop it over, kind of seal it up, and add some butter on top, just like that. Wow, it looks so good, and it's not even cooked. All right, so when we come back, we're gonna have all these done, and then we're gonna put them in the oven. It's a 350 oven, it's preheated, and it's gonna bake for probably around 25 minutes, so stay tuned. Okay, so really quick, my Spanakopitas are done. I want to brush them all with some more butter on top. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Wow, look at those. They look really good. All right, so making half a pound of chicken and the ingredients I just showed you yields you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Spanakopitas. So if you are having a party, hello. If you're making a party and you want more than that, so you probably would use a pound of chicken and just increase everything, double the amount. Okay, so we're gonna put these in the oven, 350 degrees, let it bake for approximately 25 minutes, and then we're gonna take them out and give it a good taste test, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome back to Happy Cooking with Yvonne Douglas. We're gonna check on our chicken and pepper Spanakopita. Let's see if it's ready. It's been approximately 25 minutes. Yep, they look like they're done. So I'm gonna take them out of the oven. Let's see. Wow, it looks so good. Ah, excellent, fantastic. All right, I'm gonna turn off my oven. Wow, can you see those? Now, these are pretty large. You can make these smaller for appetizers. You can make them just like this as a kind of like a lunch if you serve it with some mushroom gravy maybe and have some green asparagus with it, or maybe some green beans with it. So it can be like a little lunch, it can be a little dinner, but they can also be made as appetizers. If I was making these as appetizers, I would probably make them half the size. So that means when I do my strips coming down on my phyllo dough, I would have to probably make them a little bit more narrower, okay? But they look really good. You can eat these hot, just out of the oven right now, which I'm gonna do. Or you can wait until they cool down to their room temperature. That's why they're so great for appetizers. So let me get my spatula here. And I'm gonna just take one, I don't know, this one maybe. It looks so good. Oh my gosh, look at that. I'm gonna take a bite. You can use your hands, but of course since it came out of the oven, it's gonna be kind of hot, so I'm gonna use a fork and knife. But otherwise you can use your hands at their room temperature. All right, let's see what they taste like. Pretty hot. Wow, they're so good. Oh my gosh. I wish they weren't so hot. You probably do need to wait a little bit before you eat them, but so good. Excellent. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like it and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And happy cooking. Bye-bye.